Are you tired of the same old chicken sandwiches? Well, today I'm revolutionizing the classic chicken sandwich with a plant-based twist that's bursting with flavors. Let's dive in. Today I'm going to begin by making my chicken. I'm going to be mixing together some Gardein chicken strips and some great ingredients. For the chicken base, I'm going to be using the Gardein plant-based chicken strips, Italian seasoning. I'm going to mince up the parsley. And now we have a shallot. This one shallot is going to be more than enough. And now I have a few garlic cloves. So to enhance the flavor on this chicken, we have of course that Gardein chicken strips, Italian seasoning, parsley, shallot, and minced garlic. When it comes to making the chicken, all you have to do is fully thaw the chicken strips and mix together all of the ingredients. So when it comes to this, I'm just going to add everything together in a big bowl. At this stage, if you want, you can add some cracked pepper on there and some salt. And then just mix it up some more into kind of like a dough ball. And then shape the chicken however you want. You can do patties, you can do it more like fillets, whatever your preference is. Shaping it into a ball, like a big meatball. And there's our first chicken fillet. And so there you go. Now you can see how to transform the Gardein chicken strips into these delicious looking chicken fillets. All right, now that I have the chicken, it is time to elevate its flavor with some marinade. Next up, I'm going to make a marinade for the chicken. Liquid amino, some apple cider vinegar, paprika, onion powder, garlic powder, some cumin, just a little bit of chipotle chili powder, just to add a little bit of smokiness. All right, for our marinade, you can see we have our spices, apple cider vinegar, and liquid aminos or soy sauce. For the marinade, I'm going to add everything into a bowl. And let's just add a little bit of lemon zest on here. All right, so I'm just going to mix this up. Just going to marinate each piece of chicken. Now I wanted to escape the typical flavors in a chicken sandwich, so I replaced tomato with some roasted red peppers. All I'm going to do is cut the peppers in half. I'm going to discard this membrane and the seeds. And now I'll just put on the red peppers. And those are going to go in the oven and cook. Now every sandwich needs a sauce, so I thought what better than an aioli sauce. All right, at this point I'm going to make a spicy avocado aioli. So I have a garlic clove. I have a serrano pepper. So I'm gonna just go ahead and do a quick prep on the serrano pepper, which is literally just that. I have a lime. All the prep I'm gonna do on this is cut it in half. An avocado. Just gonna cut the avocado in half. Pop out the seed, some adobo seasoning, and some veggies. A couple pinches of salt to the adobo seasoning. We're going to crack some black pepper in that adobo seasoning.
This chicken sandwich needs to have a kick. What better way than making a red onion and jalapeno relish?
All right, next up I'm making a pickled red onion and jalapeno relish. Sugar. It's kind of clumpy, but I'm just gonna add some salt. I need about a cup of apple cider vinegar. And then I'm going to prep up the jalapeno, cutting it in half. And I'm going to go remove the membranes. Now I don't care too much if I get all the seeds out or not. I just want to make sure I get all of the stem out. And so what I'm going to do is it's going to be a relish. So I do want everything to be minced. Doesn't need to be super minced, but enough. So when it comes to the jalapeno, pretty much like that. Cut up the red onion. I'm going to cut it in half. Certainly makes it easier to work with. Cut off this end. Okay. And I don't know if you've seen my video on how to prepare an onion, but showing you how to do that now. It's pretty simple. You know, you cut it how I've done so far. Keeping the membrane intact. Cut it down that way, and then just a quick slice like so, and you have this beautiful minced onion. That makes it so that way you're not crying when you're prepping onion, because that's about the worst thing when it comes to cooking, is working with the onions and then being left crying the whole time you're cooking because of the onion. All right, so the cast iron's hot. I'm gonna go ahead and add in the salt and the sugar, and I'm gonna add in the vinegar. Now this is basically gonna cook off in here until the sugar is completely dissolved. And we can verify dissolving just by pulling it and looking. And looks like it is dissolved all the way through. Add it over the onion and jalapeno. And basically, I'm just gonna give it a little bit of a mix. And I'm just gonna let that marinate while we finish the recipe.
So what goes well with chicken? Bacon does.
Moving on to the bacon, I have to first make the marinade for the bacon. Liquid aminos. We're gonna do some liquid smoke. Maple syrup. Chipotle chili powder. So I'm gonna add a little bit of spice, a little bit of smokiness. Give that a little bit of a mix. So here I have some tofu. The thing about the tofu is that I did press the tofu to get some liquids out, so that way it's a little bit drier and there's no liquid in it, in order so that way it can soak up more of that marinade. And so I'm just gonna cut it into some bacon slices. Now I'm not gonna be using the whole block of tofu because I'm not making a ton of sandwiches. So you can use as much of the tofu as you want. pretty fat, so cut these in half. Marinate on this plate, and I'll put the bacon down, I'll flip it over. So many different ways to make bacon. This is just a real quick way for just this recipe. I have other videos that can show you how to make different bacons, seitan bacon, things like that. Feel free to check those out.
Now I love cheese, so it's a no-brainer to me. I'm gonna have to make a vegan cheese bread for this chicken sandwich.
Next up for the recipe, I am going to be making a cheese. So I'm gonna start with some lemon. So you're gonna cut it in half. So I'm gonna start with some lemon juice. I'm gonna make a cheese, a vegan cheese. It's gonna be cashew based. So I'm gonna have to cook off the cashews to boil them for 10 minutes to soften them. But I'm gonna start by getting all of the ingredients in this blender first. Some nutritional yeast, some chipotle chili powder, a little bit of salt. I'm gonna add the cashews and some water. Basically, I'm gonna let that boil and just let it cook for 10 minutes. And now I'm gonna add the cashews and some of the water just to help it mix. All right, so we're going back to the stove. We're gonna add the cheese, and we're gonna add this agar-agar to it. And add just a little bit of water. And we're gonna do this for a few minutes just so that way the agar-agar is fully mixed in with the cheese.
So those red peppers need to cook and roast for a bit in order to get that little bit of charred, smoky flavor to them.
All right, now back to these roasted red peppers, right? So we're gonna just go through and carefully remove some of the charred skin on it. But we gotta be careful because we don't wanna lose any of the actual red pepper itself. And we wanna keep some of the chard anyways for flavor purposes of this sandwich. Basically, you know what to remove because it does just peel off. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to just slice up the red pepper. And so I'm just gonna add a little bit of oil, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of chipotle powder. Give this a mix.
All right, so now the oven is available.
So now it's time to cook off the bacon. Now that bacon's going in the oven, probably for about 30 minutes.
Now again, I didn't want to make just a typical chicken sandwich, so in order to elevate it a little bit further, I decided to substitute the lettuce with some endives.
Next up, I have some endive. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna zest some lemon. And then I'm going to squeeze some lemon juice. Add a little bit of oil, some salt. I'm gonna give it a quick mix. And then I'm just gonna peel some endive leaves. And really just toss the endive in the mixture.
So again, we're making a chicken sandwich, right? And the chicken needs to be the main character in this. And in order to ensure of that, I thought what better than having a 3-part breading process.
When it comes to breading the chicken, I'm gonna make 3 different parts to this. So first up, flour, cornstarch, some garlic powder, chili powder, onion powder, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of a mix. The other dry ingredient I'm making is the actual breading on the outside. And so I'm gonna add some breadcrumbs, some Italian seasoning, garlic powder, chili powder, onion powder, and some nutritional yeast. I'm gonna mix that up. I'm gonna make almost a vegan buttermilk. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add milk. I'm gonna add some hot sauce. I'm using some sriracha, it's just my favorite. And I'm gonna squeeze in some fresh lemon. Mix this up. I'm going to begin by getting the chicken into the dry mix. Really want to get it everywhere, get as much as possible. And I'm going to do the chicken into there, then into my wet mixture. And then into the breading. Now I'm going to do that for all 3 pieces of chicken. When it comes to cooking the chicken, I need to ensure that the flavor and the texture is perfect. And in order to do that, I figured what I would do is fry the chicken on both sides, give it a little bit of golden brown to it, and then go ahead and put it right in the oven to cook it the rest of the way. All right, so when it comes to cooking the chicken, we're just gonna take the breaded chicken, we're gonna put it in the hot oil. And we're gonna let it cook through, get it nice and browned on both sides. Now, I really want one last element in order to really set this chicken sandwich over the top. So what better way than making a maple balsamic reduction? Balsamic vinegar to make a maple balsamic glaze. And add some maple syrup, black pepper, and I'm gonna let that cook and reduce down. There we go, this is almost about done. As you can see that it's really started to thicken up. You can see that almost like caramelly burgundy color around the rim. So you can really start to see that kind of like crispness kind of coming through. So it is just about done, a few more minutes and the chicken is almost done. And we'll start enjoying ourselves a chicken sandwich. All right, we took this journey together. I have all of the elements. Let's go ahead and plate it up. So this chicken sandwich, really, it's pretty incredible. You saw all the different elements that went into making this chicken sandwich, and all of them are absolutely fantastic individually as they are. Bringing them all together, it was definitely really interesting. I've never had a chicken sandwich like that before. You know, I will say that having such a big chicken, having such a big piece of chicken on there did make it a little bit difficult to eat the whole sandwich. So I found that I had to use a fork to eat it, just because I couldn't open my mouth wide enough to eat it all. But it's a good chicken sandwich. I think that
you know, I definitely will try going out and trying things with so much flavor and have all that intensity. But I think sometimes, depending upon how you're feeling, maybe it's better to pull back on some of those flavors, keep it simple, and just have a little bit more of a simple chicken sandwich. But this was absolutely fantastic because I've never had such a gourmet chicken sandwich with so many different bursting flavors. So I definitely recommend this in order to try something different and have a one-of-a-kind chicken sandwich. But the chicken though, it really was the main character. I thought that taking the Gardein chicken strips was a great approach because it already has that protein source, and then infusing it with a different, infusing that chicken with the different ingredients really allowed me to really kind of take the chicken and really direct it into a certain flavor that I was really going for, that was really perfect for the sandwich. And then adding in the breading process I think was great too, because it added some crunch, and it also added a little bit of heat to it. So absolutely fantastic. I appreciate you following along, watching this, and you know, I'm going to continue making some great recipes. I'm going to continue having fun in my kitchen. I hope you're having fun in your kitchen, because that's why we're doing this. That's why we're here together, just to have fun in our kitchen, you know, tweak our food journeys, right? And our dietary needs and habits, and be able to just enjoy food as it is and share it with each other and the company that we have near us. Everyone, I'm your friend with food benefits, and I will see you again real soon.